What happens when you take your trillion-dollar nuclear weapon that is AI and you scale Johnny to the ends of the earth? Johnny in a normal ecosystem fills in the gaps. Johnny in an AI-driven ecosystem, you've scaled mediocrity. Mediocrity scaled is a business that dies. So what you need is only A players. Only A players. Most people don't have them. So step number one, fire the people that can't function in this environment. They're worthless to you. They're going to ruin your business, and they're not worth keeping around. They're going
to dude, that is ruthless, man.
Horrible.
AI isn't just changing dentistry, it's completely redefining it. Tune into Bite-Size Podcast, the dental AI and tech podcast, and stay ahead of the curve.
Welcome back to another episode of the Bite-Size Podcast. The biggest AI unlock isn't learning more AI, it's having better people. That's what Kasim told me before we jumped on this podcast. Welcome, Kasim, again to the Bite-Size Podcast.
Hey, Adrian, thanks for having me, buddy. Appreciate you.
Yeah. What do you mean by that? The biggest AI unlock isn't learning more AI, it's getting better people.
Dude, to be honest with you, I feel like it's obvious, and it's weird that the entire world has assumed this opposing paradigm. If you just look at the way a business is structured, you have the founder, the entrepreneur, the dentist, whatever, insert the head, the chief, the top of the hierarchy. That person's job is vision. Even in dentistry, I believe very, very strongly, and I'll go down with this ship fighting like a petulant child. A dentist's most important role in their own practice isn't dentistry, it's vision. And here's how you know this. Here's how I can prove it demonstrably. Because the most successful dental practices aren't the ones with the best dentists. They're the ones that whoever's running them has the best vision. Sadly.
How do you know that? How do you know that, Kasim?
Well, because the way that we keep score from an economic perspective is money. And I ran $100 million in ad spend for years and years and years of my life. I had a tax relevant sum of my clients were either dental practitioners, medical practitioners. And I can tell you, it was never the best medical practitioner that won. As a matter of fact, to be honest with you, there was sometimes generally an inverse ratio. The better you were at medicine, the better you were at dentistry, the better you were at prolotherapy, the better you were at whatever, insert your medical here, the worse you were as a marketer. Kind of obviously, right, dude? Like, what dentists need to learn, and this is something they already know, and I've listened to your show, so I know that you preach this too. Dentistry and entrepreneurship aren't the same. Mm-mm. There are elements of it that dovetail into each other, but they're not the same. And dentists need to learn to be entrepreneurs. There's enough of the business of dentistry that dentists aren't taught in school.
I don't think they're taught anything.
Yeah, sadly. Right. But take that thesis for a minute and hold it. In any business, the visionary shouldn't be insert any task here, digging trenches, right? Writing the manifesto, running the ads, building the building, cleaning the toilets. In so many ways, as a matter of fact, the most successful dental offices I have ever seen are the ones where the lead dentist, let's say the owner, lifts him or herself out of day-to-day dentistry. They're no longer hands in a mouth. They're running the business.
Yeah, so they've brought in associates and they've moved up to kind of a leader status of the visionary. So forth.
That's exactly right. No, I'm not telling you have to do that. I don't want to tell you how to run your dental practice. But here's what I will say: there is no place for you to go learn AI. Obviously, like what are you? And here's how you know this, because you've already tried it. You've already tried it, and I'll ask you, listener, and I know I'm being petulant and I'm being a little bit of a prick, and forgive me, but it strikes close to my bone because I've run here too. When you go learn AI, do you feel more at peace? Do you feel like, oh, I've got a handle on this thing now? I don't need 15 people. I can just run my $1 trillion AI bot.
Confusing.
No, dude, it's overwhelming. It's confusing. It's hard. Yeah. Here's why. The visionary is quick start, low stay, good at having babies, bad at raising them. AI actually... AI requires...
Dude, hold on. You can't drop shit like that and not pause for a laugh, man. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
AI requires depth. AI requires, you're probably familiar with the managerial nomenclature, maker time, manager time.
Yeah.
Manager time is broken down into half-hour increments and segments, and that's how entrepreneurs tend to work and think. It's like in and out, make a decision, move on. Maker time requires 4-hour blocks. When, Mr. or Mrs. Dentist, is the next time on your calendar that you've got 4 hours to mess with something? I'd love to know. When are you going to be able to turn off the phone, shut the door, do nothing but spend 4 hours embedded and ingrained in, insert anything here? That's what AI takes. So, well, what do I do now, Kasim? You go find yourself an extraordinary human. No. I've tried that. There's no such thing. They all need to be managed. They need their handheld. They need to be micro. I have to watch them. No, you don't. You're hiring the wrong people. There are extraordinary miracles throughout the world that would take the ball and run with it. But Adrian, you, Kasim, me, Mr. and Ms. Dentist, we all ruin them. Entrepreneurs ruin top talent, and you do it within 90 days. I have frameworks that explain how we do that specifically. But the core thesis is this. You have no business learning AI. It also, by the way, let's say that you did. Let's say that you're technically adept. You're one of the dentists that you're like, actually, dude, I'm pretty damn good at this stuff. Great. Is that your highest and best use?
Well, I would also say to that, they are far, far, far and few between. I mean, to your point,
so,
like 4-hour blocks.
Yeah.
Like you and I have been spending all day, every day for 3 years, at least I have since ChatGPT came out, and I can't even keep up with it.
Oh, dude, I'm not. You know what's funny is that's true, and I'm not good at it.
And I'm not great.
All the AI that I execute on is built by other people for me.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the only way that it works. Now I'm the vision, so I'll approach and I'll say, hey, it would be really cool if we had this.
Yeah.
And then they take it and they run with it. Here's the point that I make, not just to dentists, but to every business owner in the history of humanity. AI, counterintuitively, doesn't nullify the need for people. Now, there's a quantity question there that, to be honest with you, is a pretty devastating discussion. Sean Putty, who has a podcast called My First Million, I don't know if he coined this, but he's where I heard it. He talked about the K-shaped economy. And if you think about the letter K, the base of the K is a line in the sand. It's today.
Okay.
The upward trending leg of the K is 20% of functional humanity. 20% of functional humanity, because of AI, scales to a degree of efficiency that's impossible to hyperbolize. You actually can't exaggerate it.
Yeah.
They are able to produce more than there is demand. So production capability is no longer a question. That's 20%. 80% falls to literal zero. They are worthless to the economic endeavor. They're still beautiful people and they're going to heaven.
So you're talking about the human beings. You're talking about the skill set and the output of the human being. Gotcha.
80% of people aren't equipped for this world. Here's why. In a normal business, think of an assembly line just in your mind's eye, because that's the easiest business for us to conceptualize intellectually. You have an assembly line, and on your assembly line, you could have 5 employees, you could have 50. It doesn't matter. You have A and B and C players. And on an assembly line, you actually need your C players. They fill in the gaps. A players are expensive. B players are hard to find. A players are impossible to find. You luck into them or you cultivate them. B players are hard to find. C players, you can run an ad and you get a C player. And you know what? They do good enough. And your assembly line pumps out sprockets or t-shirts, or I don't care what. If you've got a great big order, that's fine. Johnny can manage it. He's not great, but he at least gets the job done.
It's job done. Yep.
What happens when you take your $1 trillion nuclear weapon that is AI and you scale Johnny to the ends of the earth? Johnny in a normal ecosystem fills in the gaps. Johnny in an AI-driven ecosystem, you've scaled mediocrity. Mediocrity scaled is a business that dies. So what you need is only A players. Only A players. Most people don't have them. So step number 1, fire the people that can't function in this environment. They're worthless to you. They're going to ruin your business, and they're not worth keeping around. They're going
to dude, that is ruthless, man.
Horrible.
Seriously?
Right? And here's the thing. It is what it is. This is the other piece, and I'm about to get I'm going to get some hate mail, but it all is what it is, dude. I'd love somebody to challenge me on everything that I'm about to say, because it's going to get really vicious. I'd love for you to challenge me, Adrian, if you disagree with anything that's about to come out of my mouth. Ready? So my name.
Challenge.
You've probably not heard my name before, right? It's kind of not American. My name is Kasim Aslam. I am I'm the product of a Pakistani immigrant who met a white lady. And so there's a purpose to this whole discussion, I promise you. The
Race,
reason that's relevant
whatever. This better come back, dude.
I'm going to bring it full circle.
All right.
I've been given the very unique opportunity to see both sides of an extreme polarization from an economic perspective. My father is from what people term as a third world country. I don't think we're allowed to use that term anymore, but whatever it is, poor people, right? My mom, thank God, blessed by whatever lucky star I was born under, I was born on the right side of an arbitrary line that allowed for a significant amount of opportunity. Now, fun fact, I'm a welfare baby. Dad jumped ship, mom's blind. Me and my brother are raised on Social Security disability in Albuquerque, New Mexico by a blind single mother. Now you think, oh God, Kasim, that's so sad. No, it's not. You know what Social Security is, dude? It's a trust fund. I'm a trust fund baby because this whole damn country got together and decided, you know what? We're going to feed you. We're going to clothe you. We're going to house you. We're going to educate you. That's amazing. That exists nowhere. So God bless the USA, red, white, and blue. So glad to be here, etc. Lip service served. Here's the problem. We have destroyed our labor base. And here's how you know this. Because as an American, you've tried to hire. I have. First words out of their mouths. What's my title? How much PTO? You know what? I'm not going to be able to come in on Friday. Why don't you? Like the opportunity to find peak talent, peak performers in this country has been nullified because people have no real needs. Now, are there peak performers in the United States? Is there top talent? Doesn't exist? Yes, absolutely. You know where they are? The coasts. They're working for publicly traded companies, pre-IPO that's going to make them hundreds of millions of dollars, in business for themselves. They're doing things that you can't afford to offer. Why do they want to work for you in your little rinky-dink dental office in Paducah, Kentucky? They don't. You have no access to top talent in this country because all the top talent has a level of opportunity that is in excess of anything you'd ever be able to provide from a brick and mortar perspective, regardless of where they want to go, or that's option A, or B, you get who? The leftovers. Now, go on social media today, Adrian, and tell me how important is work to the Western world? They're talking about mental health, time off, vacations. I mean, dude, we're dealing with 60 days PTO now all of a sudden. I don't know a small business that can afford that. Right. Flip the coin. Let's go to the emerging world, okay? Let's go to all of Latin America, all of Asia, Eastern Europe, North Africa, anywhere where people are hungry. God forgive me for putting it that way, but that's what it is. You have a population of people that are just as smart as we are in the West, right? Be racist if you don't think so. Same hierarchical structure, same percentage of outstanding talent, a fraction, I can't even say a fraction of the opportunity. The opportunity is so fractionalized in the emerging world, it might as well not exist.
Yeah.
So you have that same triple PhD talent that Google pays millions of dollars a year for with stock options available to go work at your dental office. Freaking try me, dude. Try me. Hire out of Bogota, Colombia. The average white-collar worker in Bogota, Colombia is making, $300 to $600 USD a month, and they're working at a call center, which is the modern-day sweatshop. I've worked at call centers as a kid. It's a slave trade. It's horrible. It's soul-sucking. Take that person out of that environment, pay them 3, 4, 5 times what they'd make domestically, change their life, impact them economically on an anthropological scale, give them meaningful work, see what happens. You encounter something a U.S. employer has never encountered before in their entire freaking life, which is gratitude. Pay $20 an hour to a poor brown person. See what happens, dude. They will move freaking mountains, but get the frick out of their way. Because here's what people do. First, they go to the emerging nation and they're like, oh no, I tried hiring out of the Philippines. Those people, they just can't get it done. It's like, did you? Show me what you did. Lift the hood. Here's what happened. Well, we paid $2 an hour. We went and tried to get the cheapest Filipinos that exist in the Philippines. Yeah. And then we sat there and we screenshot their desktops and we make them clock in and out and we treat them like they're automatons and we scream at them through the screen. I didn't stop to learn their culture. I didn't stop to understand what's going on. I didn't really consider the fact that the Philippines is a hyper social culture and I'm making them work graveyard shifts, which is damaging and detrimental to them culturally. There's all these things that we don't understand. We're like, oh no, outsourcing doesn't work. Maybe calibrate a little bit. Maybe back the role into where you can go to find the best possible human from a cultural alignment perspective, a language perspective, a time zone perspective. And dude, Latin America, by the way, dude, I went to public school. I didn't know this, Adrian. It's a big place. Big place. There are some freaking killers, bro. People that will blow your mind. My EA right now, her name's Gina. I don't know how old. I think she's 22 years old. and you show up, and I'm a dad, so when I see her, I see a kid. You know what I mean? I see this
Yeah.
girl who's just, and she's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and you kind of look at, I remember when I interviewed her, I was like, oh man, I just, you seem so wet behind the ears. Adrian, she's a bloodthirsty assassin. There's nothing she can't do. There's nothing she can't do. She figures out. I remember we sold a piece of property. I own 20 doors in Fargo, North Dakota, because Fargo is the most recession-proof economy in the United States. And we needed to sell one of my houses in Fargo. And North Dakota's stupid for some reason. If you have an Arizona LLC that owns property in North Dakota, you have to have a proxy LLC in North Dakota. And somebody set all this stuff up for me. And so I sell this house and I need to wind down the LLC and I can't figure out how to do it. And I'm going back and forth via email with an attorney who's going to charge me $4,000 because I can't figure out how to do this stuff. Now my EA is in my inbox and Gina sends me a message. She goes, hey, I can figure this out. 24 hours later, swear to God, maybe it's 48 hours. Swear to God, it wasn't more than a week. This Colombian EA, who's never been to the United States and knows nothing about Fargo, North Dakota, has gone through the municipal rulings and laws and websites and figured out how to do all of this stuff that an attorney, that I couldn't figure out, number one, that an attorney was going to charge me $4,000 to do.
Right.
Those people, and here's the thing, dude, it's not an exception, it's a rule. These people, they're there. But what you have to do is don't treat them like slave labor. It's not data entry and cold calls. How about you hire somebody over there? My CFO, my personal CFO, I have a portfolio of 16 businesses. My personal CFO, who manages all of them, is a college professor in Argentina, born on the wrong side of some bullshit arbitrary line. Dude couldn't, if he lived here, he'd be working at Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, Facebook, Google, making $1 million a year. Poor guy works for me. He's a miracle, dude. He's a freaking miracle. And he's one of the brightest financial minds I've ever had access to. But people don't think about like, oh, let me give real work to the folks offshore. If you do it, it will change everything. I promise.
Okay, so hold on. I think you've dropped the mic.
Yeah.
That's good. Let me ask you a couple of questions to kind of like formulate this. So your claim in the opening is that you shouldn't be learning more AI. You should get better people. Okay.
Who then use AI on your behalf.
Who you use AI on your behalf.
I'm not against AI. I'm very, very for AI.
I get it.
But AI is not an unlock. It's just the ubiquitous truth that all of us have access to.
Okay. So that statement, the biggest AI unlock is not learning more AI. It's having better people. I want to make sure that we understand the flow of this conversation. Right. You're now talking about EAs that are executive assistants that are helping do whatever needs to be done, legal work, answering phones, I don't know, whatever it might be. Okay. How is that related to AI?
Dude, you actually you encapsulated it perfectly. Here's the problem. Do you know what AI eats alive? Specialization. AI already, well, I forget who it was. I think it was the CEO of Salesforce says we don't need software engineers anymore. Oracle, that's Amazon, Facebook. They're firing everybody with letters behind their name, right? AI beats radiology 1,000 times out of 1,000. AI eats specialization, which is weird. It's counterintuitive because for the last 1,000 years, from an economic perspective, specialization was the way to elevate yourself from an economic perspective. AI eats specialization. You don't need specialization. You don't need graphic designer, content creator, website designer. Insert specialized role here. You need what? A motivated generalist. What's another word for a motivated generalist, Adrian? What would we call them if we thought about this, had a whiteboard, spent a whole day working on it? We might say something like
entrepreneur,
executive assistant.
Oh, yeah.
Know what I mean? I need someone who will do it all. And when that thing that they're doing becomes so automated they don't need to do it anymore, they can move and do the next thing. My favorite thing that I've heard employees say all the time, especially here in the Western world, is, oh, that's not my job description. That's not my job. Not my job. Guess what, homeboy? You don't have a job anymore, Mr. or Mrs. Job Description. There is no such thing because AI is eating it like Pac-Man, eating those little pellets. Well, and that's your job is one of those little pellets.
It's definitely hitting the white collar workforce.
Oh, dude, wait for robotics to catch
brutal.
Up. Yeah,
it's brutal.
And I'm not celebrating any of this. Here's the other thing, too. I don't think we're talking about an apocalypse. We're talking about universal basic income. We're talking about a massive shift as far as how humans interface economically. And we produce enough value to feed and clothe and house everybody. We've proven that for the last century plus. But if you want to play the game, if you still want to be in business, you have to learn how to adjust to this new framework. And the framework is specialization doesn't exist anymore. AI eats specialization. So what do you need? Motivated generalists. Now, what's another word for motivated generalist? I don't care. Entrepreneur, executive assistant, chief of staff, like insert your own nomenclature. We actually talk about this all the time at Pareto. I own a staffing agency, which is why I beat this drum so hard. We don't know what to call them because executive assistant doesn't even do it justice. What do I call this girl, Gina, who does she does things for me personally. She does things for professionally. She cross-pollinates through all my businesses. She manages other employees. Is there a better word for that? I'd love for somebody to send it to me. Along with your hate mail, send me your ideas for names.
I want you to take that idea, this executive assistant idea, and I want you to apply it in very specifically to dentistry. I mean, what you're saying, generally sounds correct, right?
Yeah.
But the application of using outsourced talent that, according to you, you can get better talent for less expensive, if possibly, for outsourced from other countries.
Mm-hmm.
I have quite a few examples of why this works personally with my own company. But so I follow you on that. But we're talking about a dental practice, a doctor who's got hands in the mouth, a dental assistant who has hands in the mouth, a hygienist who has hands in the mouth, and a front office. Like, where do you insert your motivated, what do you call motivated generalist?
Motivated generalist, yeah.
Where do you insert that in a dental practice? Like, what problem are we trying to solve?
Well, here's the issue: is the problem of dentistry isn't the hands in the mouth. Chances are, you as a dentist are pretty damn good at that. I think it's an additional 12 years of schooling. Like, I didn't realize how much school dentists went through until my cousins went and became dentists. Right. And it's like, oh no, we do as much school as medical doctors and then some, right?
Yeah, and they walk out with $800,000 in debt.
So super bright people that know how to do their job. The job of dentistry isn't the job of dentistry. It's everything on the periphery, right? So it's marketing, operations, HR, finance, outreach, retention, customer service. And my very strong opinion is any service business from dentistry to plumbing is really a relationship business.
Okay.
Dentistry is a really good example. I live in 85258, which is the greatest zip code in Arizona. In 85258, fun fact, if you were to look, let's say that you're willing to walk 2 miles. I'm a walker. I like to walk. 2 miles isn't too bad for me. If I'm willing to walk 2 miles, I've done this only because I have a cousin who's in dentistry, and I made this point while he was sitting in my office. I will find, if I do a 2-mile radius around my home, I'll find 38 dental offices.
Yeah,
38.
I would believe it. Yeah.
Easy, right? And it's an affluent area, of course, dentist pops up. Some areas are different, but I think that's pretty consistent for most. I live in a major metro. Here's why that's interesting. Most dental offices, in my experience, and I've run a lot of ads, so I've had a lot of experience, offer a free care and cleaning for your first visit. Free care and cleaning for your first visit. I go to the dentist 3 times a year. Let's say you only go 2, which is the recommended frequency. That means, Adrian, I get to go to the dentist for 19 years for free without ever getting in my car. I can walk to the dentist for the next 19 years of my life and go for free. Tough business to be in if you're not playing retention, customer service, outreach, loving on people. There is so much about dentistry that needs to be done outside of having your hands in somebody's mouth.
Right.
And almost all of those tasks can be done remotely. You should be doing direct mail campaigns, remarketing campaigns, following up with people. One of the things that I did, this is my own innovation, when I was running traffic, retention was horrible. The cost per acquisition on a new patient was high, and most patients never came back. Story is the most powerful narrative in human history. So I'm going to give all of your dentists a massive unlock right now. This is, I think, a really good pro tip. Again, challenge me if you disagree. The periodontal chart is a story. You come in to my dental office and you have 5s and 4s and 3s. The 5s need to become 4s. The 4s need to become 3s. If you do your job right, that's a good story. If you don't do your job, that's a bad story. They go the other direction, correct? Right. So what dentists were doing, though, is, first of all, they weren't explaining to people what any of that meant. So people came in, and what was really interesting, too, is when they would get these new patients on the hook, they couldn't get them out of the office fast enough. I'm like, what are you doing? You have this person who just came into your office who, on a lifetime value perspective, if retained, is worth thousands. And you're introducing them to who? Who, when they walk into the office, who do they meet first? Is anybody doing an intake? Is anybody doing a phone call? Is anybody doing an introduction? Is anybody getting to know them, their medical history, their past? Any phobias? One of the biggest problems with dentistry is people are afraid of dentists.
Yeah, there's anxiety.
Yeah. So imagine if you had an extraordinarily adept EA who, the minute somebody booked, said, hey, Adrian, notice that you just booked with our office. Dude, I'd love to hop on a call with you, have a minute, and just learn more about your dental goals. Are you friggin' kidding?
Really? So okay, then that's an actual applicable idea that makes
Oh, good
sense.
golly, Miss Molly, why wouldn't we do that? Why
Yeah.
wouldn't you have somebody go on there and build a relationship? Get the sum. Oh, you have 2 little kids? That's cool. Did you know that we have a pediatric department? Oh, you have implants? That's okay. You know what? The doctor specializes in all on fours. Oh, you've got mercury fillings? You know what? We're all natural. Oh, you're afraid of fluoride? Oh, let me capture all this data here. So then when you come in, the dentist gets to be like, oh, Adrian, hey, dude, I heard you have a mild phobia of needles. Listen, I need you to know we actually have, for our drilling, we use that special laser thing, where, et cetera. Now I know you. And I get to tell you a story, which is your periodontal chart. So you come in and I see your 5s and your 4s and your 3s. I mark them down on a little picture that lets you know where it's what. And then I give you that and I say, I want you to focus here on your flossing and your brushing. And guess what the picture has? It has the before and it has the after. And the after is what? It's empty. Why? Because the human mind cannot stand open loops. So you're going to have that on your mirror. And for the next 90 days, you're going to be looking at that damn thing thinking, I wonder what happens if I actually do this stuff that I'm supposed to be doing. And then if you want to be really wicked ninja, you offer a free follow-up. Free, Kasim, you can't mean free. My time is so valuable. I'm a dentist. Yeah, free, moron. Because if you don't do that, they're not coming back. So you offer a free follow-up. Why? To build the repetition in their mind that this is my dentist and this is the office that I go to. And in that free follow-up, you say, hey, look, I just want you to come in. I want to see how you're doing on the periodontal chart. Let's continue the story together. Now, when they come in, you mark it on the second half of the sheet so they can show before and after. But what your EA would do is take the second half of that sheet, transpose it to another first half, and now your EA gets to what? They get to follow up with people with real data. Follow-up, communication, customer service, loving on folks. Remember their birthdays. Remember their kids' names. These are all things. And then this expands, dude. You should be doing direct mail drops. If you live anywhere near any schools, you should be doing direct mail drops. Direct mail is the most valuable form of traffic driving.
I have to disagree.
Oh, let's fight. I'm ready. We're going to battle this one out, dude. I got math.
I'm just going to disagree. I'm just going to disagree because of the way I treat direct mail. Okay. Yeah. So maybe not a really great sample size. Yeah. But holy cow. Have you run direct mail recently?
Oh, dude, I'm about to make, well, I can't give you the number. I will make a 7-figure sum of money on direct mail in the next 18 months.
Yeah.
Can I offer the math?
Yeah.
Here's the issue you run into. I'm a paid traffic guy. I like to brag at $100 million in ad spend under management. Really what that meant is I spent $100 million of other people's money. Okay. So if you're a dentist, you're going to run ads, and it doesn't matter what you're running ads for. General dentistry, Invisalign, teeth whitening, all on 4 dental implants. Those clicks are expensive.
They're very expensive, especially now.
Oh my God,
They're
dude.
Out of control.
Yeah. Out of control. $30, $40, $50 a click. A click. One person clicks on your ad. Now, if somebody clicks, do they come in? No. They click and they go to your website. How many people have to go to your website before they call? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50? Who knows? You're paying $30 a click. Now, is $30 a click, is that a fair number? Because I've seen them 100. But I'm just going to
I think $30 to $50 on high profit margin services is probably, depending on where you're at in the country, is probably
that's a fair average. 30's low even, but let's say 30.
Would be low.
Now, here's what's really interesting is have that number 30 in your mind. I can send an ultra high quality mailer for $1.50. Okay. I can send lumpy mail for $3. Lumpy mail, by the way, developed by Joe Polish, who's a good friend of mine, is one of the greatest marketers ever in the history of the world. Massively, massively, massively underutilized. Lumpy mail is exactly what it sounds like. It's mail with something in it. It's lumpy. Yeah. And for $3, imagine what you can get for $3. You can get a lot of really cool stuff for $3, including things that are utilitarian and functional. So I can send 10 lumpy mail pieces for what it costs me to get one random click. And if I go and I buy my list right, which is I'm going to go after families that have children, that's a demographic segmentation that's available inside of any list purchase.
All localized, obviously.
Yeah, all localized that are within walking distance of my dental office. And if you send, now here's what's really interesting is everybody in the direct mail business knows if you don't send 3 drops, don't send 1 because you need repetition. So my first drop isn't always a postcard. Why? Because a postcard is 29 cents and it lets me know what addresses are real and which ones weren't. Right. Because I get them back. There's a return to sender. So first I send a postcard. Then I'll send a handwritten note. Handwritten note, Kasim, are you kidding? That sounds horrible. It is for your EA, right? And there are actually businesses will do for it online. And then I send my lumpy mail. By the third one, let's say you do 3 drops, $3 a piece to 10 people, that's $90. So you've spent what you would spend on 3 clicks. And now in $90, you've sent 3 high-value mail pieces to 10 families within walking distance of your office. You want to tell me that's not going to massively outperform your 3 clicks?
I don't know. I'd have to see the numbers, man.
And guess who gets to run this?
Your EA.
Your EA.
Okay, so you hire the EA to help manage your marketing in this situation, right? So you've got an off-site EA helping you to manage the stuff. Where's the AI in this? Are we just basically saying, or are you saying that the EA is better than AI? Or where's the EA and the AI influence happening?
Well, I'm going to poke at you a little bit, if you don't mind. And it's not me poking at you. It's me poking at everybody. People look at AI as though it's a top-down initiative. And that's the paradigm. It's like, well, wait a minute. Aren't we going to use...
Which is incorrect.
Massively incorrect. So they would think like, oh, I'm not going to do marketing anymore. I'm going to hit the AI button on the marketing machine. And it's going to do the marketing for me. AI is not a top-down initiative, meaning you don't see AI peering into the factory, looking through the window. You don't see AI. You don't see the robot on the assembly line. Here's what you do see. You see, going back to my assembly line analogy, because it's just the easiest for all of us to understand. There's a person on the assembly line, okay? And the assembly line is long, which means there's multiple people on the assembly line. Let's zoom in on one. So there's a person, the middle person in the assembly line does 5 things, okay? Just for the sake of argument. So there's somebody before them that does stuff and hands them the thing that they do, and then there's somebody after them. They do 5 things. Now, what we want to have happen is we want to be like, oh, go get a robot that does those things. It's not the way it works. You take that person and you say, hey, here are all these AI tools that you can use. And that person goes, okay.
Go get your job done faster and better.
Go get your job done. And the person says, well, it can't do thing number 1 faster than me because the intake right now, I've tried it and it's just not working. Thing number 2, it does okay, but it actually takes me longer than doing it myself. Thing number 3, oh my God, I can't believe this exists. This is amazing. And et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it continues to iterate accordingly. So everything that I just talked about, handwritten letters, identifying people in a list, doing targeted outreach, writing communication, asking questions, honestly, talking to patients about dentistry. Imagine if you or Mr. or Ms. Dentist had a knowledge repository where every single time somebody asked a question and you answered it, it went into a custom GPT so that your EA could answer those questions for you next time with your words. And you never had to repeat yourself again. Every moment of your life can be recorded right now with wearable AI.
Right.
All of that can go to your EA. Your calendar, your EA. Your email, your EA. All of your Slack messages, your EA. All HR, all compliance, all outreach, all follow-up. To be honest with you, all brainstorming. All competitor monitoring? What are your competitors doing that you're not doing? What's happening in social media? What's happening in your city? There's a bunch of things. Dentists end up being something like cultural hubs. Like there's things that happen close to you that you could be the one producing content on, informing parents about, letting people know what they should or should not be doing. And that can all happen from your EA. Here's the other thing, dude, and I'm going to sound kind of like a prick. This is the thing about AI. Everybody's got it. So if you could just bolt on AI and let it go, well, we've lost that competitive race before we started because now it's equalizing.
There's not a solution. That's not the solution. There's not a solution that does that.
No, what you need to do, Mr. and Ms. Dentist, business owner, visionary, is vision. Just remember that AI is like having as many trillion-dollar brilliant robots as you want at your disposal as long as there's somebody that can use them, which is why you need these motivated generalists. Because you could say to yourself, you know what? I would love to know around our office, they're building a bunch of new housing developments. I'd love to just go to school on all those new housing developments. And number 1, I'd like to see how they're doing their marketing and where they're marketing, how to get in front of those people first, potentially. If they're building those schools, where they're building the schools, if they're charter schools, where they're charter schools. And I'd like to do a lot of outreach. I'd like to do some community lunch and learns, some meetups. I'd like to go into the school and talk to the kids about healthy eating. I'd like to talk to, hey, EA, go figure that out for me.
Okay, hold on. So you're saying I hire somebody in Bogota, Colombia, who's my EA, and I say, I'm a dentist, and I say, go do all this market research.
Yeah.
And they do it.
Dude, here's this back to my original thesis. I'm not talking about anybody in Bogota, Colombia. What I'm telling you is, remember the original thesis. Top talent in the United States is where? Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, Facebook,
Yeah. Or they've
pre-IPO
started their own company.
Go get that talent in Bogota, Colombia. It takes, when I own a staffing agency called Pareto Talent. It takes 1,000 applicants to produce one EA. 1,000. But my people are best in the world. However, we're expensive. So let's say your listeners like Kasim, I don't want to go hire your people. I wrote a book that's free to them. You go to thehirebook.com, they can have it for free. Not just the book, but the workbook, the template, the cheat sheets, and a global job hiring board. It's 7 steps to finding the greatest talent you will ever be exposed to in your entire life. Because 1,000 applicants.
Hold on, say that again. Where do they go get that?
Thehirebook.com.
Thehirebook.com.
If you go to thehirebook.com, you can have my book and everything. My goal in life is to help people in emerging nations find meaningful work. And you will find everything that you need in order to create a funnel. And all that funnel does is put 1,000 people through the top and pumps out 1 or 2 or 3 that are truly extraordinary. And the key, believe it or not, and this is going to blow everybody's mind, the key is you got to pay more. Because
how much? Like, what was an EA cost?
10% more than the high water mark.
What's the high water mark?
Well, that's go to school. Like if you go to school in a market, if you're in Vietnam, $400 is what an executive vice president at the bank might make. So if you pay 10% more than $400, you're going to get inundated with applications.
Oh, it's the high water mark of the economic
in that region. And that's what I tell people. You can't just spin a globe. What a lot of people do is like, oh, my friend's hired out of the Philippines, so I'm going to go to the Philippines. Or there's a bunch of staffing agencies out of the Philippines. It's such a bad model because number one, we're not considering time zone. We're not considering culture. We're not considering language. I'm going to get real racist with you real quick. Okay. My dad's from Pakistan. If I take somebody with a Pakistani accent and I put them on the phone with my Trump supporting clientele, let's say I'm somewhere in the red, there's that agitation. Dude, we're not talking about racism. It's not racist. It's not. It's just an inaccessibility. They have a bad neuroassociation because of call centers or whatever. But if I put them on the phone with somebody with a Latin accent, dude, that's their neighbor.
Yeah.
Right. So there's way more accessibility. Think about time zone. Think about cultural alignment. I love Latin America. People in Latin America aren't quite, stereotypically speaking, aren't quite as technically adept as people in South and East Asia. However, they're also, because people in South and East Asia come from cultures where, again, stereotypically speaking, folks are punished for creativity. If you're in an Asian corporation, you're not allowed to think outside of the box. You actually get penalized for that. Latin Americans are way more aligned with Western way of thinking. I'm using Western in air quotes because I'm trying to be PC and I'm not good at it. And so you're actually going to have an easier time working with them. And if you go get that 1 in 1,000 Latin American, which my book teaches you to do for free, I'm not here selling you anything. If you think about it, dude, think about you and me. If you and I lived in Bolivia, right, or Montenegro, Uruguay, or Peru, and you had a shortage of opportunity, and all of a sudden you're strolling through LinkedIn or Facebook, and you see somebody in the States offering you 5 times what your peers make. Mm-hmm. You'd jump through some hoops, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I would. I got 2 little boys, dude. I'll kill and die to feed them. Right?
Yeah, sure.
So will everybody. So you go find those people. You fill the top of your funnel with a bunch of people by doing what? Offering more from a pay perspective, offering more from a benefits perspective. Benefits don't mean what they mean here. It means, hey, I'm not going to screenshot your desktop. I'm not going to make you clock in and out. I'm not going to be a Nazi. We're a fun place to work. I'm going to let you do meaningful work. And I'm going to make you feel like you're part of the team. People will come out of the freaking woodwork. You're going to have thousands of applications, thousands and thousands and thousands. I promise you, if you're doing this right. Now, what do? You filter the stack. How do you do that? The very first thing in all my job descriptions, at the very top, it says, to apply, your application must read, your subject line must read, I actually read the instructions. So when they send an email, the subject line reads, I actually read the instructions. Guess what? If it doesn't read that, it's automatically filtered out. My EA never even sees it, or the hiring manager, whoever's doing this. I've hired thousands of people this way, by the way. This is my life's work. This is 20 years worth of work in this. Now, it's a Trojan horse that lets them know to actually read the instructions, because in the job description, first I sell the daylights out of the job. This is why I'm awesome. This is why it's fun to work. The money I'm offering is real. I realize this is 3 to 5 times what you're willing or what you're used to domestically. Here's why I'm offering that, because most of you won't make it. I want the best of the best of the best, and I want to see if that's you. To apply, your subject line must actually read, I've read the instructions. Great. That's what the subject line reads. The instructions will be things like, hey, send me a PDF attachment of your resume with this naming convention. Do I care that it's PDF and not Word? Do I care that it's an attachment, not a link? No. I want to know that you can follow instructions and you're not an idiot. I'll ask them, what does this quote mean to you? I like Khalil Gibran's quote, work is love made visible. Use a Bible quote. Use something that's important to you. I just want to know that you can be thoughtful and that you're going to respond to me like a real life human being. I'll ask them to take an English proficiency test if that's important. I want to know that they're a C1 and above. That's one of the distinctions on the free English tests. I'll ask them to take a personality test. They send me all this stuff. Okay, so all these applications come in. Hundreds and hundreds come in. Most of them don't follow the instructions. Filter them out. They're not worth paying attention to. Why? Because you don't want to manage people, right? You want people that don't need to be managed. Now, the people that you've shortlisted, the whole world has taught us to hire according to resumes and interviews, which is absurd and obscene because resumes tell you nothing and interviews only tell you who's the best interviewer. And unless for some reason you want to pay somebody to interview for the rest of their life, you need to work with them. So here's what you do. You create a trial project that's hard. A trial project that's hard. It should take them 2 hours, and it's not a check the box, this is done. It's usually a problem with no solution. So for example, if you're hiring for a graphic designer, don't say create this design and this chroma key with these colors and these dimensions. AI can do that. What you would say instead is you'd say, hey, I've got a client that really needs a solution for this very specific problem and this very specific demographic. No idea how to approach it. What would you do? So I created a trial project, and then I would message them. Let's say you applied for a job with me. I'd say, hey, Adrian, this is all my book, by the way, for free with all the templates. I'd say, hey, Adrian, thank you so much for applying for the job. You look like you'd be a great fit. I've been hiring my whole life. I know enough to know that interviews tell me nothing. I'd like to work together. Here's what I'd like to do. I want to pay you in advance for 2 hours of your time. And depending on where you are geographically, give them an amount of money that makes sense. $40 in LATAM is great. $20 in East Asia is great. Yeah. So I'll give you $40 for 2 hours of your time. Send me, if you agree, send me your PayPal or Payoneer or Wise or whatever's applicable for that country. You have to know these things. And when we're ready, I'll send you the trial project. So obviously people say yes. They send me their PayPal. I pay them in advance. I don't follow up. I don't send them the project. You do that with the 10 people on your short list. Guess what just happened? You figured out who's going to ghost you for $40, who you can't trust, who's not accountable. I have people email me weeks later all the time saying, hey, dude, you sent me money and you didn't send me the project. Yeah, idiot. I'm glad I didn't hire you. Person who clearly needs to be watched every step of the way. Yeah. The people that come back and want the trial project, I send them the project, but dude, I get sneaky. I'll send them a project saying, hey, I need you to do this project. Here's the scope of work. Here's a username and password that you need to log into this Dropbox file that has all the assets. By the way, when do you think you can have this done? I never tell. I always ask. I want to know they can manage time and expectations. So if it's Monday and you tell me it's going to be done on Friday, great. Guess what? The password's wrong. And now I just sit back and watch. Because if you email me Thursday night saying, hey, the password doesn't work. No, I know. I sent you the wrong password. I want to see what happens. If it's customer facing, I'll schedule a meeting with them and I'll cancel at the last minute. Or I'll ghost them entirely. See if they follow up. Take everything that sucks about this job, work it into the process. By the time this ends, you've taken thousands of applicants and you've narrowed it down to 1 or 2 or 3 killers, bloodthirsty assassins. Tell me they can't solve problems and work your business better than you. Dude, there's nobody that works for me that's not smarter than me. I'm the dumbest human in all of my organizations, and everybody will attest to that because the whole rest of the world has no opportunity available to them. And dude, it's a pernicious evil. And a lot of it has to do with the petrodollar and, this weird central bank. We've done a lot of this. And the atonement that we can bring to the table as Americans, if we actually give a shit, is to go find people in emerging nations that are willing to work, pay them ungodly amounts of money for their own economy, and then get the F out of their way. This is one of the things that entrepreneurs do to ruin top talent, is if you find these people, don't micromanage them. Yeah. And I see this all the time. You're like, hey, go make a video or go edit this thing or create a website. And then they come in and like, make the red blue, make the square a circle. I don't like this line. Shut up. You have a brilliant human being performing work for you that's better than you'll ever do. Shut your freaking mouth. Unless something is objectively wrong. Hey, the studs have to be 18 inches apart. Otherwise, the building inspector will make us rebuild the building. Great. Should have told him that ahead of time. If it's subjective, be quiet. You're a dentist. Go put your hands in teeth and let somebody else build the website, do the marketing, create the promotional material. You know what I mean? Like, totally. Get out of their way. They're probably right. You're probably wrong. Sorry, dude.
All right, I think you landed your point, dude.
Yeah, and if you wanted the easy button, come hire one of my EAs. I staff these people. We have over 100 of them.
Yeah, staffed. I was gonna ask and give you an obvious plug here that you do all of this, and so
dude, I've got the best staffing agency in the world. I hate to be so arrogant, and you know what it is, man. We love our folks. My people, they go through this boot camp. We stay with them. We maintain the employer of record. We have 3 meetings every week. One of them is just a town hall where everybody gets together. We play games. Like, we actually care. And I've got the best people in the whole wide world. And we're expensive. I'm $3,000 a month. You can go to the Philippines and get an EA for $400. Yeah. But if you don't want to pay me my $3,000, that's okay. Go read my book. Do it for free. Do it yourself. Yeah. It's a weekend worth of work. And you'll find yourself with the best employee you've ever had in your entire life.
I love it. I think you've covered everything. I think you've
I've
covered
made a lot of people mad, is what I've
Well,
done,
no, no,
Adrian.
no.
I've offended.
But I don't mind. I like the the tenacity. That's good.
Yeah.
Let me just button up one idea here.
Uh-oh.
Or clarify one idea, and I'm going to use an example from my company that I think fits. Okay. So you're hiring really, really good people. And the reason why you're having to hire really good people is because with the capabilities of AI, and we haven't really got into exactly what those capabilities are, but learning how to use new softwares or understanding how to prompt correctly or being able to just understand what AI can do, that really good person maximizes their output by them finding the ways to improve their work, right?
Right.
That is a down up directional kind of thing.
Dude, I say
You're going
bottom up
through
all the time. AI is bottom
bottom
up,
up,
not top down.
not top down. I'll tell you, with my own company, I started top down trying to like push
Yeah.
AI into the company, and it backfired. And from everything that I've read online and case studies from large organizations, that has backfired every freaking time.
Yep.
The model is to give your people, get your right people, get the correct people, the people that are willing to change, right? So you have to find the right person, which is what we've been talking about, and then let them figure out how to improve their output.
Right.
Which means that you have to think about this totally different. And one of the things that I've found is that, and I'll relate this to dentistry. Okay, I go speak all the time about digital marketing, dental marketing, that kind of stuff, and AI is a big piece of my marketing or my presentations. One of the sneaky kind of things that are happening is I'll go speak, and I'm talking to sometimes dentists, sometimes dental team members, and whatnot. When I'm speaking to a dental team member, those people get freaked out by AI, and they don't push that information through to the dentist because they think that their job is going to change, and it will.
And
Okay.
it will.
But
That's the problem is specialists want to specialize. They don't want to generalize.
Right.
So if you have the wrong people in your business to the point that you're making, they'll actually repel AI because it is forced obsolescence for them.
Right.
They're the Luddites. It's the classic example.
Yeah. And I think that that's happening worldwide.
Yeah.
Is that there is people are resistant to AI because they see their job changing, and so they resist it. Right. So you have to come with your message. Your message has to be dialed in correctly, or meaning you're helping these people understand that AI they could use it to improve their performance. But at the same time, if they can't do that, which a lot of people can't do, the solution that we've been talking about is the solution, which is you've got to find the right people.
You have to find,
you just have
to. You have to have aligned incentives. That's number one.
Yeah.
Because in many cases, the employer-employee relationship is actually something of a combative construct, sadly, but it's just what it is. And in a world where, and what's so funny is in many cases, I'm not even, it's such a moving target. It's hard to know exactly how it works in every individual business. But in a world where using AI as a key performance indicator, you don't want someone who's looking at the end of their job to realize that, oh, as soon as I automate this, I'm out of a job. That's why I like the motivated generalist.
Right.
Because an aligned incentive is, hey, if you can automate yourself out of this job, I've got a better, bigger job for you. And if you can automate yourself out of that job, I've got a better, bigger job for you. Whereas a lot of people right now, if you work at Quicken Loans or GoDaddy, if you automate your job, you just ended your job. So one, you need aligned incentives. Two, after you've had aligned incentives, meaning people aren't going to get penalized for using AI, you need people who understand there's no such thing as a job description anymore. There is only goals. We are going to accomplish goals by whatever means necessary. That's why we need motivated generalists, not specialists. Because the specialist, as soon as, I don't need a graphic designer anymore, the graphic designer goes, well, that's all I do. And you're like, well, go enjoy universal basic income. Have fun watching Netflix. I love you and I don't need you, nor does anybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's aligning incentives and then finding the generalists that are willing to take it, because AI is going to change faster than you or I or they can keep up with it.
Yeah.
But what you want to do, did you ever read Black Hawk Down, just out of curiosity?
Not the book, but I saw the film a couple times.
Dude, the book's amazing. It's Mark Bowden. He did more exhaustive research on that thing. It was so good. It's such an amazing event. I don't think the film did it justice. What was interesting about the book, though, is a lot of what went wrong in the beginning, a lot of the reason that 18 Americans died was because of the communication mechanism forced by the U.S. military at the time. The people on the ground were communicating to the people in the sky via a proxy. So the guy in the sky, the helicopters, the Black Hawks would be up there. Randy Schuckardt and Gary Gordon, who got posthumously got awarded the Medals of Honor for roping in and saving Mike Durant. They're seeing where the enemy's going. They're seeing where the convoy needs to churn. Right. So they say, turn left. Well, that goes through Central Command. Central Command relays it to the ground. But by then, they're a block past left.
Right.
And that kept happening. And it actually took one of the radio operators who knew how to hack the system to go direct. Yeah. You're doing that with your people if you think you're going to learn AI. Yeah. By the time you even figure anything out, and you probably won't, you're going to relay it, and it's going to be too late. Don't be Central Command. Let your people figure out, like, oh, this is what's working for me right now in the moment, because it's going to change day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute.
I love it, dude. Kasim, thank you for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me.
I'll get this all pushed out, and I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your very invigorated feelings about AIs or EAs, excuse me. So thank you, man.
AIEA. Appreciate you. Thank you, listener.
Take care.
Thanks for listening to Byte Size Podcast. Tune in to stay up to date with everything dental AI and tech